Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today we are playing with something new. This is from the indie brand Adept Cosmetics. It just came out and it is their new multi-use palette. It is called Ketracel White and we're going to use it both on the eyes and on the cheeks today to see kind of what are the different ways we can use this palette. It's only got 4 pans and yet so many colors. So if you'd like to see more information on the palette, the pricing, some swatches, a little tutorial, keep on watching. Before we get too far into the video, if you haven't already, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe and I would love to see you back again on the channel chatting in the comments. All right, without talking too much longer, let's go ahead and get into the swatches and the tutorial. All right, now we are not going to use, of course, all the shades on the eye today, but my intent is to use individual shades. It's really obvious in this pan, but hopefully you can see in this pan the different stripes of the different shades that are within this. They're more iridescent with more of a translucent base in that one. So I'm taking a Morphe M12, just a little brusher, because I'm trying to get just like the stripe of the specific color that I want. And I'm wearing kind of like a bluish plaid-y checkered type situation. So I'm gonna take the deepest kind of like violet-ish blue shade of the Dominion pan, and I'm gonna put that on the outer portion of the eye here up against just a couple of the brown mattes that I have on. The mattes today are from the Saints, Angels, Sinners collab with Faerie Light. So this is their new A Fairy Tale palette. I do have a dedicated video on that palette. I'll leave it linked. I posted recently if you're interested in seeing more of that palette, but I didn't want to do something that was an all shimmer look today. Sometimes I like that, but I wanted a couple mattes to pair this palette with today, so some browns it was. Now I'm sure you could make these pop more with some glitter glue, but I'm personally not going that route today. So that's more of, like I said, the like deepest bluey indigo right there that I've put against the brown. And next up I'm going to go into the shade next to it, which is the second deepest, kind of like, I don't know, pinky greeny. It's hard to describe the color on here, but I'm taking the same brush because I need something that's like skinny like that. I feel like, ooh, okay, so on the eye it's kind of looking teal, this shade next to the first one, which is great because that's gonna match the shirt well, and I feel like the shift between blue, purple, teal is gonna look really good. It's kind of reminding me of, there's a Cleona shade I have that is really rich in jewel tone that shifts like this. Interesting. I feel like it's called Crown Jewel or something like that. Very rich, super pretty. And then I'm going to take again the same brush and I'm gonna go for the kind of purpley shade in this one that's iridescent. It is second from the bottom here, and see if I can put that on the rest of the lid. This one that is iridescent I feel like is not picking up as easily on the brush, even though these are the two that are described as the powder formulas. Oh, there it comes a little bit more. Okay, interesting. It is at least this little shade in here seeming to be a bit of a different texture, a little more flaky in formula on this more iridescent founder shade. It's the first time I'm playing with it, so maybe they're not all that way, I'm not sure. But this one is a little more textured. It might just be because I'm trying to dig into one shade that it's getting a little more of that chunkiness to it. I'm not sure, but I'm really trying to pack it on so that the color shows up here. So I'm curious to see what these would all look like swirled together, and especially as a highlighter, but I do think that I will use this palette more as a multi-purpose palette, which is what it's labeled as the website says. On here it came with clear packaging that said highlighter palette on the outside. So yeah, do what you want with it. But here's kind of like a nice indigo purpley navy look to start with. And then I'm gonna take a Morphe M560 little brush here, and I'm gonna try to put the lowest stripe shade here in Founder in the inner corner and see if we can pick any up on this brush to get it. Ooh, that's got a little bit of a like pinky reddy to it. Now this palette is really expensive, you guys. It is $68. I myself did Afterpay on it, but I really, just as I do a little liner here, that's not the brush I want, little shadow liner here. I really wanted this one. I'm on a low buy. I've only been letting myself buy like 1 or 2 items every month, but I don't talk about this as much on my channel, but I am a huge sci-fi fan. I love video games. I love graphic novels. I love just a lot of pop fiction, pop culture things. And one of those things is Star Trek. Star Trek is one of the shows when I'm not feeling my best, you know, the best mood, that is a go-to for me. It really has a lot of stories to me that just, I feel like, restore my faith in humanity sometimes, and it's just got a lot of interesting things to me and topics that have to do with the human condition. Now, if you're not familiar, the reason I'm bringing this up is because this Adept palette is called the Ketracel White palette. And all of the names, Founder that I've just used in Dominion, and then Jem'Hadar and Vorda are the 2 cream highlighter shades. Those are all names, and the name of the palette, Ketracel White, that are based on the Star Trek Deep Space Nine TV series. And I have watched all of them. My love for Star Trek really actually started, I was not around when it started, like I wasn't alive, that's how long Star Trek's been around, but when the Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto movies came out, which was like a revamp of Star Trek, right? That's really when I got into it, and I love those movies so much that I went back and started watching the originals in the TV series. And the original, I feel like William Shatner, icon. Leonard Nimoy, icon. Forever. That being said, I feel like the storylines have gotten a lot better and more interesting, in my opinion, in the spin-off series after the original. I feel like you need the original, it's iconic, but it's actually not my favorite. My absolute favorite of all of them that I've watched so far, because I will say I haven't watched all of them, is Star Trek The Next Generation. There's a reason that they're making Picard right now, you know, about those same characters. That was a smash hit. People really identified, connected with those characters. I have not seen the new Picard yet, but I've seen all of The Next Generation. I think after that, I actually like Voyager the next best. I love the female captain, Captain Janeway, Chakotay, all of the characters on there. So cool. But I also really liked how they explored some of the other aspects of politics and things in Deep Space Nine, which this one's about Deep Space Nine, and I love Odo from this, you know, the foundlings and that whole story of this. So if you're not a Star Trek fan, I'm sorry, I probably just said a bunch of words that make zero sense to you, but just to show you how much I love it. And right now I'm working on Star Trek Enterprise, which honestly is kind of boring and not my favorite so far, but I'm only in the first season, so I'm a diehard fan. I'm going to watch it whether it's good or not, frankly, but I've still got, you know, Star Trek Discovery and the Lower Decks and Picard, lots of them to watch. I definitely haven't seen everything. But all that is to say, that's why I really felt like this was gonna have to be one of the purchases that I made this month, because I am just such a die-hard Trekkie, and I don't have anything that I think is like this multi-use palette. I think it's really unique how they've got the stripes in here, and I've only used it once, but I didn't think it was hard to get individual shades. It's not like, I don't know, it hasn't been super annoying, at least in this one use of like, oh, I wish they were separate pans. It was easy enough. I have no qualms with that. And then the only kind of like cream highlighters I have in my collection are, let me see if I can find one to show you, the little, where are they from? Ritual Defee, these things. They're little highlight intensifiers that are cream and they come like this. I usually just apply them with my fingers, so I'm kind of questioning if I want to use my fingers for this cream highlighter or if I want to use a brush. I'm sure over time I will find the best way, maybe even like a sponge. But I put on a little bit of like a glowy bronzer, but I didn't put any blush on because there is kind of like a pinky cream highlighter that I thought would be kind of like a 2-in-1 highlighter and blush situation from the palette that I would put on after the eye look. By the way, if you're curious about any of the other products I'm using, I will have them all listed in the description box down below for you. Okay, let's feel this and see what we're working with. So Gem Hadar is more of like a goldy, greeny, I don't even know if you can see this color here. And Vorta is more of like a pinky, it's got a little bit of, I think, orange in it even. Interesting. So I'm gonna go for the pinkier one. The method of application is concerning me a little bit, you guys. I don't know what I want to do. Okay, this could totally not work. I'm hoping it doesn't lift my foundation or bronzer, but I've got a sponge. We're gonna try here. So this is Vorta, this is the more pinky one, and this sponge is definitely not clean by any means, but I'm gonna take a clean side of the sponge. Ooh, very creamy right away. You can see there on the sponge where I put it. Ooh, it looks really pretty and iridescent actually here. And I'm just gonna try to put it there. Can you guys see it? That's pretty. Okay. Ooh, it's dispersing nicely. And I don't think anything's lifting. Yay! we have a win. Okay, let me put a little on the other side here. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see. So, I don't know. It's like, it's got a very nice translucent base. So I feel like no matter what your skin tone is, how fair or deep it goes, you'll be good. Ooh. Okay, maybe I went a little overboard, but I kind of like to go overboard on highlighter. What do you guys think? Can you see it? I mean, dead on, you can't see it at all. There's zero cast, which is great. When I go to the side, I know you can see like the glossiness, the sheen to it, but I don't know if on camera you're gonna be able to see like the pink shifts to it that I'm seeing in real life. I am going to a soccer game with my dad very soon, so I will try to capture some on my phone in natural light what this looks like, and that way if it's not coming off well when I'm like editing the video, I can put in a little bit of footage for you guys to see. But it's very shifty. Again, I see pink, I see orange, I don't know, maybe a little like yellow or gold, but I think it's very wearable. I don't think it's like a streak of color highlighter. So if you're worried about that, I think you'll be good on this. It's definitely a colored highlighter, but it's a subtle colored highlighter if there is such a thing. But yeah, guys, that's the palette. That's my little trial of it. What do we think? I think it came out really nice on the eyes. Okay, it is hours later, like midnight. The hair is wrecked, the foundation is wrecked. But I wanted to show you, look at the eyes. Perfect. Now I did use an eyeshadow primer, but I used no glitter primer. There's no creasing whatsoever on these shadows. They look just as good as when I put them on. And then you can kind of see a little bit better, I think, here in my bathroom than you could in the natural lighting. Like, you can't see the highlighter at all dead on. When you turn, you can see it's pink right here. But if you look, if I slightly turn my head like halfway, I think you can see like here where it's like kind of yellowy, goldy, greenish. That is like the shift. So you can see the pink in the front half and then the other color back here. That is what it truly looks like in person. Really, really pretty. And the highlighter lasted as well. Very, very shimmery, like not glittery, but it's got the same sparkly, really packed reflect as the Adept, you know, shimmer formula normally does. So if you don't like something sparkly, you're probably not going to like this on your face, or your eyes for that matter. And yeah, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me and playing with the new Adept Cosmetics Ketracel White Multi-Use Palette. Used it on the eyes and on the cheeks today. Ooh, I'm super excited to play with it more and to get into some of these more orangey and green shades in here. Super excited to have something new to play with since I've been pretty good lately on my low buy. And yeah, thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end. I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!